This is Berk. Well, it used to be. A lot has changed since the last episode, so let's take a closer look. We've got a rocky road ahead of us to finish this mock before the movie comes out in June, and I've got a couple really cool teasers for you about the future of the build at the end of the video, so without further ado, let's take a look at the progress. The rocky cliff is coming together with the first major wall in place. To give the rock wall this sort of jagged and slanted look, I used a series of light and dark gray plates and wedges to create a sort of slant with a giant gash through the middle as well. In order to make the rocks look natural, I wanted to have this gash in the middle to give the impression of erosion from water and wind, like a real island would have. On the back of the wall, we have a few Technic pins here. This is actually what holds the rock wall onto the Berk island itself. Originally, I tried to use ball joints instead of pins to secure the rock wall to the actual build, but I found that they were just too stiff and it wasn't really working or efficient to mount the wall this way. Now that this first chunk of the rock wall is done, the next step is to make mortar surround the rest of the build. The other thing that we're going to be doing here is blending the beach rocky shore area to the rock wall. I'm using these big ugly rock or burp pieces because I think it's kind of fun to have that iconic Lego piece somewhere here in the build, and they take up a lot of space with their rock structure. The next piece of rock work we have here is a small grassy area on top of a smooth cliffside. In the movies, you can see these sort of grassy stairs, these giant cliffs that build their way up to Berk, and I wanted to try and emulate this in the build as well. We'll have a second one in this spot, so we'll have sort of a 3-tier structure. I really like how this technique came together, bringing two opposite Lego slopes together to create this smooth cliffside surface, and I plan to go back to the rock wall as well and add a few more tiles so that it has some consistency with this sort of rock structure as well. This structure is going to come together with the rock walls on the sides where it'll get a little more studdy and merge itself into the rest of the wall of Berk. If we flip this around though, you're going to see the backside where there's a big old mess of colors and random pieces. This was a crazy thing to put together, and when I shine the light on here, there's a lot of really weird techniques bringing these pieces together at opposite directions so that they can create that smooth look all the way across. Heading back up to the top of the build, we have a bunch of green and brown plates here. These are going to go above the whole landscape platform we've made already. That is going to go underneath the plants. This is going to help strengthen the platform and also give a nice base for all of the plant work for the island itself. I'm going to wrap the landscaping platform with gray bricks here to blend it in with the rock wall, but the thing I'm most excited to reveal to you this episode is if I open this little compartment and I pull out the little battery pack here, I actually have a little switch. I can turn it on, and on the underside of the landscaping platform there's going to be lights. So this is just a demo for now. That's not the final lighting setup, but I'm going to be able to light up the hidden world underneath the landscape here with some cool lights and some motors and things as well to give a little more life to the build. Recently, the build has been receiving a visitor in the form of my cat Loki, and this has actually been a really great strength test. It shows that the platform is sturdy enough to hold my cat, and he's not a small cat. But Loki did show me that the pillars holding the landscape of Berk up did need to be reinforced, so I added some Technic bars to hold them together a little bit better. Now, before I show you the beginning steps of what I think is going to be the coolest part of the build, here is a time lapse of me finishing the border, and now we have a complete frame around the whole mock. Now that the border is fully finished, that means we have time to move on to other parts of the project, like some of the other creatures we're going to have in this build. The coolest creature we're going to be making for this build for the phase 2 portion is going to be the Bewilderbeast, and here I have a demo build of what the creature might look like in Lego. This is kind of a size comparison. This is just something I built up with some white plates, and here's Toothless and a Lego minifigure to compare what the size of the creature is going to be like in the mock when we have it finished. We've got a lot to get done in the next couple months, so make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with future episodes of this series, and like the video so I know you're having a good time. Let me know what dragons you want to see in this mock in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, it's always a beautiful day in the Brickstorm.